Good evening and greetings, everybody. Welcome to Midnight Touch After Dark. I'm Tom Connors. With me tonight, we have CC Karaoke. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I actually started a Marvel Comics read from 1962 over the last couple of days.
Any specific run or characters?
Well, I found a website that's like an IMDb of Marvel Comics. It has every single issue ever released with all the information on it, and it's got like hundreds or even thousands of user reviews and ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So figured with 50,000 comics, there's no way I'm possibly ever going to read that many. But maybe I could read a couple, 3,000, 4,000, you know, trim it down and get to the good stuff. And
cool.
So,
I think I know that site. Cool.
I don't have the link on hand, to be honest. It's on my other computer, but I can pass it along. It's great, actually. Yeah.
Like I said, I think I know that site. What you reading?
Well, I started again with 1962, so I started with Fantastic Four and the Hulk and Spider-Man and the original Ant-Man story and all that. It's got everything sorted out in like not chronological order of release, somewhat chronological, but in like reading order, you know.
Nice.
And then you just follow down the list and you look at all the information of each next issue and whether you want to read it. You can mark it. I've read it. I'm going to pass on it, or you know. Yeah, it makes it really easy to figure out how to start if you have no idea how to, you know, sort through 50,000 comics, right?
Right.
Cool.
No, that sounds cool. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to share that in the group because I'm sure I'd take a look at that too. But also joining us, that other voice you hear, that gravelly, rocky voice, is Clobbering Time. It's Clobbering Time. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you, CC. And great chat out there, my friends. Always great to have you here. Hello, hello, hello. And let's do some clobbering of whatever we're going to clobber tonight.
It's Clobbering Time. And also, how many licks does it take to get to the center of Nick? Well, at least 32. We know that much.
721.
That was a good one, Tom. I've never heard that one before.
Welcome back, sir. We missed you up. Yeah, you've heard it a million times.
I missed you guys, so I'm glad to be here. So thank you for having me. Hello to you, Clobby, CC Karaoke. Hello to our exquisite chat out there. I see you all. Dr. Coffin Nails, Stephanie Jan, Goddess of Whim. Yeah, D-Bud. Thank you all for being here and wrenching. It looks like I arrived into some interesting range of topics. So yeah, let's get to the show.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of stuff on the table tonight, but we're going to talk about a few things at least. We got a new member to welcome right off the bat, though. That's right. We got Ghost Rider, who is now, let's see here, a minimum effort puppy. So let's do a sticker for Ghost Rider and say thank you for becoming a minimum effort puppy.
Excellent.
Let's see here. Where is that little bugger? I gotta look for them all the time. Got too many stickers. That's the problem. You know.
Weird, buddy.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
doggy.
It's also Mikey's favorite. I don't know if you saw. I posted a picture of Mikey's present that he gave me for Christmas 2 years ago that I finally got today, or the year before.
I missed it. I'm curious.
It's an Axel Foley figure. Nice.
Really?
Ooh,
Yeah,
really?
Dude.
I want that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get a chance to do a video on it soon. I did a little video on it, but yeah. And then we've got another new member here, it looks like. Supplement Engineer is also a minimum effort puppy. Well, we don't want to give you the same exact sticker. So let's see here. What do we got for close to minimum effort? Well, we got Bored Corgi, of course.
Oh,
he's so bored.
Nice.
He puts the minimum effort forward as well. He's not gonna try too hard. But he is trying. That's all that matters, right? Right.
Yes.
So thank you so much, guys, for becoming new members, and we appreciate that. So first, right off the bat, I've earned this, and I've earned it many a times, and I'm going to earn it once more. And now that we're past 5 minutes,
I fucking knew it! Oh!
so
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Oh, boy.
As I pointed out, for the last 6 months, that the biggest problem with Aquaman 2 wasn't Amber Heard being in the film. It was the fact that the movie fucking sucked.
Imagine
there's
that.
a shocker. There's a shocker right there.
Yeah, like, yeah, imagine that, right?
He's got a
Listen
shirt
to those
on.
shocked people out there.
Yeah. Let's be honest. The first was just mostly just barely tolerable, watchable, and women went to go look at what's his face for 2 hours. Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
passable.
absolutely.
Oh, we got Jane Theory.
Right.
How you doing?
Hey there.
It's not even like I'm gonna be. I don't want to say a full contrarian, but maybe a slight contrarian. Like I don't hate the first movie. Now
I don't
I
either.
think there's some good parts to it. Obviously, there's definitely some cringy parts. I do like that the movie was how ambitious it was. I liked how it was trying to be outrageous. You know, like the octopus doing the drums. I like stuff that's like out of this world and unrealistic. That's what I want. So they
Yeah,
had
me
some
too.
of the right ingredients there. I did like Ocean Master. Not sure I felt about Black Manta. I did like that they honored him with the right suit though, so that was
suit looked
cool. Yes, the suit looked good, and I was glad to see Aquaman get his orange and greens. So I was happy with that. So,
He's
like I
just
said,
bad. The casting's terrible. I'm sorry.
the casting, yeah, the casting was not. Is definitely, I think, would definitely hurt because even if you take out the stigma of the Heard situation, and this is years before I even knew of what was actually the truth. I thought, like, I remember coming out with thinking, okay, it was okay, but one of my issues with it was that her and Momoa lacked chemistry. They did not gel at all on screen. Now, I didn't understand the hate that the movie got to me. I was just like, okay, it's fine. Like, I didn't mind seeing it. It was worth the price of admission, and that's all I've seen was since then was that one time, and that was fine. I didn't feel like it was a waste. It was just kind of there. It was just fine. But the chemistry though with him and Mira, I could not feel it one bit.
It's a one timer, like you say. There are good things in it. It's a fun, okay ride. Visually, it's fine. It doesn't, in spite of his casting, it doesn't really insult the character that much. Although they got the roles kind of wrong. I think Patrick Wilson would have been better as Aquaman. He was Orm. He was Ocean Master. He looked more like Aquaman to me, and Momo looked more like Ocean Master. But but I have the bruises to prove this thing didn't matter. The story. A beautiful, lovely lady friend of mine when we went to see it, she went just to see him, and she's punching me on the shoulder throughout the movie, going, "Oh, he's so hot," and all this crap. Ow. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's really, like you said, a one timer. It just has no real story to it. It's not as bad as some of them. It's just sort of there though. Mm-hmm. No, not deserving of the kind of box office it made. Just me though.
Mm-hmm. No, I gotta agree. It was not. I watched it once. That was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just because it was a 3D movie.
Yeah. And I'm an Aquaman fan now. I'm one of those that defends the character. You get picked on for being an Aquaman fan.
Don't I know?
I'm one of those guys that pick on Aquaman fans because I think he's one of the most useless fucking superheroes ever.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, Clobby. Nothing personal at all.
I
know.
It's just like, I think it's funny because it's funny because of the fact that I actually find it ironic that in Entourage,
yes,
James Cameron direct an Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
With Vinny Chase. And the only reason they did that is because there was no way in hell they were ever going to make an Aquaman movie. Right?
Yeah, that was the easiest
never
one to
going
get
to
away
happen.
with. Right.
Exactly. So what happens?
It was
they
kind of
make
funny.
a fucking Aquaman movie and it becomes the biggest movie of the DCU of that section of films. So it almost was like, it wasn't the biggest film ever, but it was of those DC films. So I'm not trying to misquote myself like the Amber Heard's agent saying that Aquaman was the biggest film of all time. It's like, no, bitch, not even close. Like I even did the thing with the, like, not even counting like inflation, is it not? it's like 19 or something like that on the list or something like that. And then if you count inflation, it's way down the list. Because like movies like Superman and Batman, the movie, are still up there, right? Like those movies made a lot of money. People forget how much money they
sold
made.
tickets. Yeah. That's the thing.
Exactly,
that
they sold tickets.
They sold tickets, and yeah, it's not lost on me that that's true with Aquaman. I don't, and like Lobby, I'm a fan of the character, especially for me. I'm a big Peter David fan, and
I hated what he did to him. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know we've had that talk. I really enjoy that run. I do. I like the beardliness. I like where he. But there's stuff I like from before then too, of course. But I've always liked the character, and I was actually happy that he got a movie because I like his idea. I personally lean more towards him than Namor.
Leaning into the more God of Atlantis kind of thing, the more regal-ish kind of thing, I didn't mind, but
Namor's better. He just got a even worse treatment in the movie than this. The dude bro Aquaman is what I hate about the Momoa. He's a dude bro, and like that's not
right. You needed somebody to kind of make you take him seriously. That's kind of where I was coming from. Is like, okay, you want somebody like me who thinks he's a joke to take him seriously, then you need somebody like a Javier Bardem or somebody like that to play him to where it actually has some gravitas.
Patrick Wilson looked perfect in that movie. He looked like Aquaman.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There's a better choice than what we got, because I'll be honest with you, like look, we were just talking about this on Mr. H's stream before. Nothing personal against Momoa. I seen Jane. You got a link if you want to hop in and give your 2 cents, Jane. Feel free. Nothing against Jason Momoa. He's a great looking guy. He's great in roles where you put him in roles where he fits. But when you put him in stuff like, let's say for Dune, for instance, he is the worst actor in that film. He is being acted circles around by a teenager, right? Like that's the problem you have here is you got everybody who's infinitely better than him really making him stick out like a sore thumb. It was almost like Bautista kind of almost stuck out in the first Guardians movie. Hadn't James really done his magic working around that performance. But by the time you get to the Christmas special, that guy's carrying the whole show. Granted, Momoa has come leaps and bounds and miles from where he was with Conan in his early days. I'm not going to say that, but that's not this character. No, this character is
he's Lobo Aquaman.
He's Lobo Aquaman. Unfortunately, that's exactly what I was going to say.
You're right. No,
Aquaman shouldn't be saying shit like badass.
Oh God.
Yeah, that line doesn't fit Aquaman. It was cool to see the trident too, because to me, I don't like the Zack Snyder-esque like extreme 5 prongs. Like dude, it's
like he should be slamming Mountain Dews and vodka all day long. It's like, come on, man, Jesus.
No, I'm not. For me, I'm good with that with Lobo because I like me some Lobo. But
that would be fine for Lobo, yes.
Yeah, but I just even though I was just like, okay, that part's not so good. But there's aspects of the movie I like, but this one though, I'm thinking, it's fun and it's a good time.
Did you ever hear my dub for this?
Lectured.
Did you hear what I used to call him, Clobby? Because I quit calling him that after a while because it got too hard to say. Do you know my old nickname? No, it wasn't Aqua Bro. Although I do like that one. Sons of Aquamanarchy is what I used to call him.
Well, there you go.
Because that's what he's just like a biker dude. It's like he's Lobo here. Oh, man, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, it's just so miscast. Yes, well,
Patrick Wilson would have been great. Really, and he would have been somebody I would have took a little bit more seriously in the role, right? I mean,
for sure.
But anyway, so let's actually get into the story here, because there's several different sources are now reporting this. If you'd listened to me months ago, how long have I been saying this now? Since way before James Gunn was even in the picture. As far as like the head of DC, that is. It says, we have a few interesting updates on James Wan Aquaman Lost Kingdom, which is set to hit theaters in December. According to several insiders, the DC sequel has not been very well received by test screening audiences. In fact, it's been referred to as the worst DC movie yet. Looking at some of the films in the franchise, that would be quite an accomplishment. Yeah. These reactions do tend to be exaggerated, but it's not just the online scoopers that have been weighing in. And now, like I said, I've been saying this for months. Jeff Snyder has also heard Aquaman 2 is terrible. And he seems to feel this is the reason that star Jason Momoa is going to leave the lead role behind him and play Lobo going forward. Here's the said tweet. Somebody had something
A little
to say.
hard to believe saying it's the worst, but
yeah, I was gonna say like, and that's saying a lot because we've seen so many bad
I've
ones
heard it's
from
bad.
DC Comics.
Oh,
Like,
I
how
believe
do
that.
you? Yeah, I like Klobby. Sorry that I sound like I'm echoing you, but it's like, okay, sure, it's bad. Like, okay, Snow is White, like, I get it. Spider-Man spins webs, I get it.
Okay.
But to say it's the worst, like, think about how they canned Batgirl, yet we're still putting this out in theaters.
Be that as it may, Nick, here's the thing. These kind of movies have certain contractual obligations that they can't necessarily can them. Like Batgirl was one of those exceptions to the rule, like most of those projects were, because they were originally set for HBO Max. The contracts were originally set for television, kind of a situation. So they didn't have the back end deals that some of these other movies are going to have. Like, look at what happened with Wonder Woman 84 when that movie got sent straight to streaming and day and date. The director and Gal Gadot got a huge payout because of that. They're not going to want to do that again. So that's why they'll put these movies out there and fail so they don't have to pay these people. It makes more sense financially. But that being said, if you go back to during the trial, because this is when I first heard this shit, during the trial, I was told that they were already, she even hinted at it, that she didn't even know where the situation was with Aquaman 2. Because even then they were figuring they were going to have to recast the role, and we had heard several names, including what's-her-face from Game of Thrones, as being taken over the role. And we'd even gone as far as to hear that we even had some footage shot of this other individual, because she's not really in the movie all that much, is what we were told back then, or I was told back then. And from more than one source, the thing that sticks out to me about this that was told to me, and I know I'm going to beat this drum again, and I was told when I asked about, well, what's going on with Amber Heard, both times the response was this: Amber Heard ain't the problem. The problem is the movie sucks. And this is coming from inside people. This is way back when, right? So at that point, they weren't even worried about the hooscow that was Amber Heard. That was like a one of many things on a long list of problems with this movie, evidently. So if your problem of Amber Heard is down on a list, I can believe this is the worst DC movie we've ever seen. Because here's the thing with the Flash situation. When people are coming out saying, oh, it's the best DC movie ever, I'm going, well, that sounds a bit hyperbolic, because from what I heard is, yeah, it got some decent test screenings, and most of them were saying they loved Michael Keaton in the film. That was the big, draw to it. And this is off. You also got to remember, a lot of these test screenings are fresh off of like Spider-Man No Way Home. So people are really hyped for this idea of the multiverse shit. And again, nobody knew at any of these times that these things were going to be rebooted either. Right? Like, so at this point, here's the problem. This movie's going to suck. They're not going to spend any more money reshooting it. There's no sense in it. It's a dead franchise. In fact, it makes more sense for them to let it fail at this point, which, for all the reasons I've just said and then some. But anyway, so the rest of this tweet says, I hear it's terrible, and that's why Momoa is going to be Lobo going forward, but they can't say that yet because then it would be a lame duck, which is kind of what I was getting at. And DC is hoping to wring another $1 billion out of the box office. First one was awful too, so not a huge surprise. And he's not wrong. The first movie is nothing to write home about. BSL was asking here, just for context, there's a reason I've been avoiding any questions about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, but since viewer Anon put it out there, it brings me no joy back to back him up and tell him that the test screenings for this film have not been good. Really hoping Juan fixes this movie before December. If you guys are listening to me, I was saying it months ago.
That first movie is almost an astonishing accomplishment. It's the most superficially successful movie ever made. It's not even close. So certain people can go and look at one dude in a movie. Nobody.
And it was all. And you know what? It was the ladies too. They say that the women want to see the women kick ass, which I'm sure there is. I will not deny that. I'm sure there is. But it's apparently obvious that a lot of women said, "Oh, hey, look, Jason Momoa's in the movie. Who cares about the story? It's Jason Momoa. Who cares how absurd this is?"
I don't think he could pull it off again, though.
I don't think he could either. And I think this is going to show. I really, and also too, I'm sure the stigma of her depth situation adds to it too. I don't think it would, it's going to crush the movie. If I had to predict, it'll probably still have opening weekend. I don't know,
probably.
somewhere between 60 and 80 million. I don't think it's going to bomb. I'm not going to be one of those guys who says it's going to bomb. It's not. It'll underperform. I think it's going to underperform its first weekend, and then it's going to drop off that giant second weekend cliff fast. And they're going to need it to drop off fast. Here's the thing, because the sooner it does, the sooner they can not only announce the casting of Lobo so people forget about it, but they can get straight into their DC proper universe that they want to do, because this is a really weird situation. Because what if, and I could be wrong here, but what if somehow this movie is good? What if Shazam is good? What if even God, I'm not going to see a Flash, but let's just say people like the Flash. Let's just say that they do. This puts Warner Bros. In an even more awkward position, because you're saying, hey, look at all these great movies we cranked out for the very last run. Oh, yeah, but we're starting over fresh with a whole different batch of stuff. You want to talk about the weirdest, most awkward position being, oh, hey, thanks for giving us movie at box office. By the way, you're not coming back for the next star of our next universe. They need this to fail, or at least fail as much as possible, so they can carry out the next universe and not have any stigma attached to this.
The thing is, and Nick, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they could not ignore if, like, this movie and Flash were to happen to make $1.52 billion. They couldn't ignore that fact. And that's part of the reason they're leaving somewhat of a door open for certain things, I'm sure. But at the same time, I think they're well aware that's not going to happen. Because let's be real about this. There has not been one movie outside of Aquaman in this entire DC run to even touch that $1 billion. The only other one close was Wonder Woman. And Lord knows that Wonder Woman 3 fell flat on its face. Because they were trying to fast track that, and it didn't happen fast enough.
Is it funny how only Aquaman and Joker were their $1 billion movies?
Yeah. Well, and I don't even count Joker in this mess. That's the thing. Like, to me, Joker's this other thing.
It is. It's a nod duckling.
Yeah. And so where I'm looking at it from here is, like, unless there's some kind of fucking miracle that, God's just, and this would be like God being the biggest troll in the world. Like, and Flash ends up making like $2 billion or some crap. They're going to be sitting there left scratching their heads going, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah.
You're not
especially
wrong, but like I said,
alive.
the odds. Well, that's the thing is the odds of that happening are so slim, but like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, Nick. That's a great, it is a plausibility.
That is something we at the least have to ponder. Like, trust me when I say, I'm sure these movies are not going to be good. I'm sure of it. But it would be very weird if somehow, like, at least between these 4 movies coming out this year, at least 2 of them are very well received. That is like, okay.
Well, I think the only one that has a chance is Flash. I'll be honest with you, because from what I heard about Shazam, that was part of the problem with Shazam, is it just wasn't that good. And Aquaman worse so. And I heard that Flash was decent, but it still needed a lot of work. And the tests that they did test well, but it had nothing to do with Ezra, right? Like, that was the thing. And it was the same thing with what they were saying about the whole Aquaman situation, is that people weren't even complaining about Amber. They were just complaining about the movie itself being a piece of shit. So I don't know.
And that's possible true. That's possible true. 2 things can be true. Maybe Amber Heard is not the problem with said movie. It is probably just absolute trash. I would not put it past it, considering.
Well, what I mean is that the movie's that bad that her distraction doesn't equate into the problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. We're going to have a very interesting year just discussing the outcomes of all 4 of these movies.
We already know what the movie partially is. She spoiled it during that trial. At least we got her side of it, because she said she was originally supposed to have some big action sequence that got cut. But she ends up in a coma somehow. And we know that she's pregnant in said coma. And she gives birth to his baby during the run of the film. So right there, we've got that much of a spoiler. And sorry, kids. And that, like anybody, I really doubt anybody really gives a shit that didn't already know this.
Right.
And then, of course, we know the other side of it already is that it's like a buddy cop movie with him and what's his face you mentioned already earlier, who's like his half brother or whatever it is.
Orm.
What's his...
Yeah, with the Ocean Master Orm, his brother.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh,
So,
is
like,
they're going to be buddies in this or something?
Yeah, it's going to be a buddy cop movie, is what it's
boy.
being billed as. Yeah. So.
Okay. I like
There's
Patrick
no
Wilson.
point in this entire movie where Jason Momoa has anything on it, where he's wearing anything from the waist up. He should be bare chest the entire time. He should be surrounded by bikini-clad girls the entire time. If you want to make $1 billion, right there.
And mermaids and fucking mermaids. No, chicks dig mermaids.
They're probably going back and reshooting.
CC's not wrong. Why isn't Hollywood paying him billions right now?
It's a water-based movie.
You're not wrong.
Just have everyone be scantily clad.
What did they do though, CC? This is his uniform for the new film. They covered him up more. It's not
an
Momoa
awful
anymore.
decision.
It's Momora.
You don't see that on much.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll have to wait until we see the trailer, because the footage I did see, he was shirtless. I think all he had on was pants.
At least Stephanie's doesn't like him. Way to go, Steph.
But I think they were smart enough to. I don't think that her and him and Amber Heard have much more than 1 or 2 scenes together, which was smart because their chemistry was horrible. So in that respect, they're just gonna dump it. This is gonna definitely be a dumper, right? Like, we know Flash has potential, but it's a
Goddess of Whim also doesn't like him. So some ladies aren't taking him by that.
Oh no,
yeah, I
that's
guess
just not their
so.
style.
And that's fine. It goes to show you the moral of the story of all this. There's always an exception. It's kind of, you always have it. We always had that friend who's like, I always feel like I'm the only one who feels this way. Well, I guarantee you, somewhere in some country, someone feels the same way as you do. No matter what happens, at the end of the day, you're never alone on some opinion.
Yeah,
well,
they're not the only ladies like that, of course. Steph and Goddess of Whim, there are other ladies that don't it, but he was popular, made a lot of money because of that.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then there's the rule 34 or whatever it is about the whole porn thing. So like somebody is everybody's kink. Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
No, that's for sure. Oh yeah.
So it's that. Let's see what we got for super chats. What are you guys saying out there? Warachi says, Nick, a question.
Ooh.
Vito and Nick's Barachos or Palermos. Did I say that right? Barachos?
Here's the where I asked. I actually do not know the pronunciation of the second one, but I have had the first and the third. Palermo's by a Chicago suburb, I think in Oak Lawn, close to the south side. Really good. Really, really, really good. They've been there for like 40, 50 years. Vito and Nick's, they've been there for like 90 years, something like that. I'm going to have to take Vito Nick's over Palermo's, but trust me when I say Palermo's is no slouch either. I mean, if you want the best of the best, as far as Chicago thin crust pizza, Vito Nick's is by far the one to end them all. Palermo's comes in very close, though. Palermo's no slouch. But I'll have to try the second one. Thanks for letting me know about that. Hopefully that gives you an answer. And Tom makes money for it, so it works out.
Has spoken. So shall it be with pepperoni.
Shredder, hey, don't be taking my pizza from me.
That does kind of sound like Shredder, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
I can't unhear Shredder now. I feel like now like I gotta go call Splinter or something. So
This is your family. I am your father. Luke, you know it is. I mean, Ninja Turtles, you know it is your destiny. I mean, it's your
density. Your density.
Fate. Fate. That's a good word. Fate. Yes.
Oh, man.
I'll never join you.
He got his $5 worth.
That's what she said. Oh.
Damn it, baby.
Tiger Valley says, same as Clobby watched Aquaman because of my ex. Oh, really? Oh, well.
Well, there you go. We know suffered.
I'm
not saying I didn't go because I'm a geek that wanted to see it. I'm just saying I made the mistake of well, not a mistake. I love her to death, by the way. She's a lovely friend, beautiful woman. But I knew she was nuts over him, and I made the mistake of sitting one seat too close where she could punch me every minute when I would make fun of him. So yeah.
You should have done. Did you tell her he's got a lazy eye?
You would not believe the horrible things I said about him just to get her to.
Well, no, it's true because it's one of those things where you don't notice it until somebody points it out, and then when somebody points it out, you can't not see it.
She saw it in person because we went to a con a few months later, and she does the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman cosplay very well. She looks perfect, just like her. And he, of course, because she and another really gorgeous Wonder Woman was there. He, of course, being a just drunk self, walked up and hung out with her quite a bit, let's say. And so I think she saw the eye, but she wouldn't let me say bad things about him after that.
Well,
he was nice enough, he was. But
I think they fix it usually with computer, or he's trained himself to wear it. Yeah. But I noticed it in quite a few things now. Yeah.
But I didn't notice myself, but I didn't look at him.
You'll notice it now. Clay Thomason says, "Have you seen the trailer for Sisu?" No, I have not. This movie looks sick. Sisu. It's like a Finnish John Wick. Check out the trailer. You know what? I'll check it out after the show and I'll send it to Andre. Maybe we'll discuss it tomorrow. Because I don't know. I need somebody who's from the Nordic areas to help guide me through that. Or should we watch it here? Because it's gonna end up.
I'm actually kind of curious. Like if I'm
saying it's gonna get me in trouble.
John Wick.
Everything's been getting me in trouble lately.
Man, people just like getting you in trouble, Tom.
Me too.
You're just a bad boy.
I'm a bad boy. Well, it's Lionsgate too, and they'll probably nail me. So whatever.
Oh, so they will. Yeah, maybe we should hold off.
Yeah, fuck it. You guys get what you want, because I'm
Look at that. Tom is so stunning and brave.
I'm a dad who likes to spoil. It's got puppies. We like puppies.
That's a win.
It's called Sisu. SISU.
Oh, he's traveling with the puppy.
There's a puppy.
Get off the horse!
I almost thought that was Schwarzenegger for a second there in the first shots.
This old fucker is a gold miner.
Don't kill the dog.
Little doggy.
Get down on
I think I bet you the dog has superpowers. Watch.
Weird looking doggy.
We got gold!
Same story. Don't kill my dog. Holy.
So it's like John Wick set in like a post-apocalyptic deal.
I guess.
What?
No, this is back in the Yahtzee days, or what?
I guess. Except it looks like he saves the doggy. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sold.
He lost his home.
I love it when they do this kind of shit. It's hilarious. It's like from nobody who had absolutely nothing to do with John Wick, but the studio that released it.
Right where they filmed it.
Yeah, not nowhere near anybody who had anything to do with it. But
except the janitors were the same.
The same company that greenlit John Wick 2, 3, and 4.
Hey, some of the same cameras were even used.
Not probably, but we'll say they were.
Yes, just in case. With the people who brought you the bathrooms in the janitor
Chances
next to
are they were Swiss cameras.
You guys are killing me.
That were better than John Wick's cameras, but it doesn't matter because they were Swiss.
Actually, he could be John Wick's grandfather, but we're not saying.
You know, a Swiss camera has several different cameras inside of it, like little cameras.
Filmed on the same planet as John Wick.
Yeah, filmed somewhere within the vicinity of a place where John Wick might have filmed.
Exactly, in color.
Filmed in color like John Wick.
Yes.
He was a Finnish commander. He lost his home and his family in the war.
Like John Wick, he had a family.
Death squad.
I am digging the cinematography.
He rides a motorcycle like John Wick.
That you do not want to
Yeah, joking behind, it does look pretty good. Yeah. Nice. That was nice.
What?
Glorious carnage.
I'm sending this to Andre as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
Andre's gonna love this.
I
gonna
am
be like,
so sold on this.
This looks like
I have to see this.
An interesting film about a deep exploration of violence in the time of Germany and Nazi regime. And, no.
It says film school rejects on it too.
The accuracy of the tanks is great.
Captain
You'll see
America.
what happens when you take everything from him.
You really believe that he's immortal?
No, he just refuses to die.
How many minds did we bury here? All of them.
With a dead meat.
You?
So it's a little
And
bit
you.
of Die Hard too, as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
He's
Die Hard
killing-
as well, not Die
At
Hard
least
2.
he's killing people that really.
Yeah.
I think yes.
Pretty
It's not
blunt.
about lucid trauma. This is about not giving up. We have a word for that in Finland.
Inglorious Seekers.
Ah,
We might have a problem.
all right.
Even more inglorious than the bastards.
Yeah,
You
even
know,
more inglorious than
yeah.
Inglorious Bastards.
I hope out of this we get the way we got an ocean of Die Hard ripoffs. I want an ocean of John Wick ripoffs.
It's on the way. I mean,
Because that
probably
means
already
if we could get the way like Die Hard spawned off an Air Force One or a Speed.
well, there's
or-
nobody. That was great.
Yeah, dude, nobody was great.
Well, this
Like,
is
that's
why
what I
we
mean.
have the
I
Die
want
Hard
more
rating.
of this. Please give me more of this.
Nobody
Like,
was the John Wick with some substance to it.
dude, nobody was super underrated.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right, Club. It did
Okay.
have some substance to it. I really enjoyed Nobody. Like the
Yeah.
title is very deceiving. It makes you think it's probably just some Joe Schmo flick. But when you watch it, it's like, damn, this is good.
Right.
Well, thank you for that, E-Clay. And then we've got CC. You didn't have to do this. Sends in a Supa sticker. Is it a pooper sticker? What is it?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't. Sent me a pooper sticker. I'll get over it. But actually, we didn't really have too much else to discuss. It's been a kind of a slow news week thus far, just kicking off. Ant-Man's numbers finally were fixed. And
Were they
I'm
small?
sure. Well,
Sorry.
well, well, you know, they were fucked up on
little
Box
movie came
Office
out this week.
Mojo. Yeah, and then we've got the movie coming up this weekend coming out, so we'll have to see how Cocaine Bear works out. But,
Yeah,
I might try and go see that Thursday.
So
So if I do get a chance to go see it, the show might be a little delayed. Just
Mhm.
keep that in mind. I'll
Okay.
try to inform everybody, but
we'll be
yeah.
here.
So what else is there to talk about, guys, before we check out of this business?
Oh man, I obviously there's not too much news as far as everything goes, but I do know obviously things are definitely gonna shake up, especially with Warner Bros. And their awkward DC palette. We had John Wick coming up, Mario a few weeks after. Now we got finished John Wick on the way. So I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking. I mean, I guess you could ponder about Ant-Man's numbers, maybe, but even then, I feel like it's still too early. I think that
Yeah.
it's definitely because I don't see it as a bomb as to me. Some people I am going to call it a spin, but I do see it as an underperformer worldwide. I do see it as an underperformer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We do got some
chats.
member chats here.
Thank you, Steph. And it looked like a super chat. Maybe Mr. Buttcrack videos. That's what.
Maybe I did. I'll go back and look.
So it says.
I probably did. Stephanie Janisek says Momoa looks like he smells so not attractive. As a woman, I look at my sisters and ask, what the fuck? So clearly her sisters like him.
I mean,
Tiger
maybe-
Valley.
Maybe she just means women in general or actual sisters. Probably women in general, I think. Maybe.
I think you should mean, well, unless she means her sisters or so, like, I don't know.
Yeah, not
Tiger Valley's been a member for 5 months. Thank you for that. Then we got Big Daddy MRI, who's also a wrench, and says, cheers, my friends. Loving this chat and panel. And hey to the awesome mods and
Hey.
rock on. Yes, indeed. And so was Steph, of course, as well. And thank you guys for that. And then we have Stephen Lanudo, who says Sisu looks like a loose adaptation of the life of Finnish soldier Laurie Torney or Larry Thorne, who came to America and became a Green Beret. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Let me go back and look at this super chat we missed. Let's see if I can find it. It's very possible when I was reading. Sometimes that happens. I miss stuff like that, especially when Six is not here and she's in bed sleeping, trying to get better. Hopefully she's doing that.
Hope so.
She's not listening to the show Yeah, I did.
I'll be
I just
feeling
missed
better.
it. It was right before yours, CC. Mr. Buttcrack Media says, I got a feeling that Aquaman 2 will be poop, poop, poop.
Poopity boop poop.
It probably will.
Trust your
Probably will.
feelings.
Trust your feelings, poop. You know
They
it.
kind of need it to be. I mean that as I said earlier, they kind of need it to be. Otherwise, once again, most awkward position in a year from now, especially if Aquaman succeeds. It's just like, so Aquaman or Lobo. Oh, I mean, yeah, I know I want Lobo, but the studio's gonna probably look at where the money's at if Aquaman repeats history.
And then we also have one from Goddess of Whim, who's been a member for 22 months, almost 2 years. Thank you so much, Goddess of Whim. We appreciate that. It's amazing. The only other thing I guess we could talk about real quick, this was kind of funny. I think Andre wants to do a video about it, so we won't dwell on it too much. But I don't know if you guys remember me saying something about how, I don't remember which stream I said it on, but I was talking about how Warren Beatty has this thing where he keeps renewing the rights to Dick Tracy by just doing these silly little thing. And this is what I was talking about. So this guy put this out here. So in 1990, Warren Beatty made a Dick Tracy movie, but no one would let him make another one. And even tried to do a TV show without him. He got so mad, he decided to find a loophole in his contract and get decades of petty revenge. Every couple of decades, he makes a no-budget 20-some minute TV special. This is true. Where he complains to Leonard Maltin while he's wearing his old costume and releases it unannounced in the middle of the night on TCM. This week, at 85 years old, he premiered this new one called Dick Tracy Zooms In. He didn't even have to show up on set. However, he has gone to court to make sure that they legally count as sequels and thus renew his rights to the character. He does this solely so that no one else can legally use the character for anything. This new special will make the character his until 2027, when Dick Tracy goes into the public domain and anyone can use him for free. This is art. This is some A+ Andy Kaufman level trolling. I will never watch either of these specials, blah, blah, blah. This is his own personal shit. But yeah, like I find I'm kind of like on this whole thing. Like I knew about this and I've tried explaining it to people, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, at the same time, he's kind of protecting Dick Tracy at this moment for a while. He kind of kept him down, but it's not like Disney was going to play ball and let him do another one anyway. So what's your take on this, Clobby? You're kind of making some noises there.
Warren Beatty, Dick Tracy will always belong to Chester Gould. Thank you very much. But if, on the other hand, again, because his movie had a lot of flaws in it, I liked some things about it, but that's neither here nor there. I guess in a sense I should probably be grateful because I'm a fan of the strip. And so is our buddy Michael at Retro Wrestling. He loves Dick Tracy. So if it's protecting him from lousy remakes and sequels, maybe that's a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, the strips they still get to make the strips and whatever. Yeah.
I don't know if this means anything to Globby, but I think he deserves credit for at least bringing Dick Tracy back out into public knowledge. Because when he did that movie in 1990, nobody knew who the fuck Dick Tracy was anymore.
No, I mean, it was they still running strips, but yeah, for the most part. No, you're right. They had things wrong with it, by the way, but I did like some things. I think my biggest gripe, and it always gets me into trouble with some people, it's like he went out of his way to make the villains look really good, just like right out of the comic page, and the backdrops and the colors and the scenery. But then he just dressed up like a normal dude. He didn't do any of those prosthetics for himself to look like Dick Tracy.
No, I mean, it is what it is, and it's going to be public domain here in a couple of years anyway, so... You know, at least he's keeping it safe for now until then, I guess.
Yeah, I get
it. He's protecting it.
I get where he's coming from in that regard. I get it. So it's definitely very intriguing how it's all happening, but I get his point of view. But I'm curious to see public domain. I'm very mixed feelings about. Like, I get it's great for guys like me with the channel if we want to talk about things, not to worry about that stuff like getting nuked for it with YouTube's weird rules. But at the same time, all it takes is someone to try to write some really bad off the wall story Dick Tracy because, well, they can do what they want now type of thing. So I'm very mixed feelings about the public domain.
Yeah. Well, there you go. He also
I'm-
ruined the movie with Madonna. Go ahead, CC. Sorry.
No, I'm looking forward to public domain. There'd be a lot of trash, but there'd be a lot of gems too. Takes it
Yes.
out of the hands of the powerful in controlling.
Corporations.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Well, it's kind of like Zorro should be in the public domain, but there's some loopholes through like the first novel or some shit. Like the first novel is, but like the character himself isn't. It's really weird.
Where does it affect movie rights, though? In other words, they're in the public domain for books and comics and different things like that. But is movie rights? I guess it affects that as well, but in a different way. I don't know. Maybe not.
Like you could make a movie, but you couldn't like say
you can't
publicly,
stop anyone else from making it.
Yeah, like you couldn't like just start using like say like if Superman were to become public domain tomorrow, we couldn't start using the movie. Like that's not public domain. Superman is, but the movie isn't. You know what I mean? Like
no, the old movies aren't. But I mean, can you make your own movie?
Exactly. But yeah, now we could go out tomorrow and then do that.
Make a movie.
And there's actually some weird loophole or some shit in Canada where like technically Bond is public domain, but they've never really done anything with it because they couldn't do it much outside of the outside of Canada with it. So like
yeah. There you go.
There's some funky situations with that, but yeah, but basically how he wound up with the rights in the first place is they had been trying to make a Dick Tracy movie since like either the late 60s, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And Beatty had kind of gotten attached to it at one point, but then it fell apart because I think it was originally Universal or something like that.
There was a TV pilot in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, so then he scooped up the rights for however much it was back then, like in 1976 or whatever it was. And he renewed them again, I think it was, or he got them. It was either in the late 60s or late 70s or early 80s when he ended up with the rights. And so he just sat on them forever trying to get a movie made. And finally, Disney. And the funny thing about the Dick Tracy movie, and I've said this before, so I apologize to have heard it, but funny thing is a lot of people are under the misconception that the Batman film is what got Dick Tracy movie made. That's not the case.
No.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit got the Dick Tracy movie made.
It was Disney, yeah.
Yeah, because it was that movie being successful because of the noir sense about it, the detective aspect of it. Plus, if you watch Dick Tracy, you'll realize that 90% of that movie is put together kind of like Roger Rabbit, only it's the backgrounds and stuff that are being utilized that way. Because like almost none of the backgrounds in that movie are real.
And they were in production when the Batman movie was coming out.
Exactly. So, yeah. They were already finishing up production by the time the Batman movie even came out. So like, it was never, the only thing that ended up overlapping is I'm sure that's how Danny Elfman got involved.
Danny Elfman doing, it's a very,
and some of the campaign, you can definitely tell by like
similar soundtrack or score.
And the same thing with the logos and
similar.
Stuff. Yep. Yeah. Really.
Hey, in music, some of the hardest artists I've had to work with in terms of like rights and copyright and all that are the dead ones, because they die and the rights get passed off on to families or corporations who have completely different, like Jimi Hendrix for years was completely blocked from everywhere and anything. Is like, I don't think Jimi Hendrix was probably feeling that way, but whoever owns him after he's died, right? And I'm sure
it's the opposite with like Prince,
Yeah, in movies and in any kind of literature, it's like the original author dies, and then the rights to the characters and the stories get sold off to the to whoever can win the legal war against it, and it becomes something completely different. It's like the comment that I saw replying to this story that I loved the most was talking about that very thing. Is like, well, once the original creator dies, the copyright should go with it. It shouldn't just be sold to the highest bidder or resolved in wills and laws.
Well, they had almost no protection for comic creations back then, as you know.
Right. I mean, they were generally ended up being
unless you were Bob Kane and had a lawyer for a father. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty much right there.
Isolated incident. Yeah.
But that being said, I don't disagree wholly with what CC's saying. I mean, if there's like a child, like a son or a daughter that clearly gave a shit and was around when the parent was making these things and has a semblance of an idea of how that parent felt and do actually genuinely want to protect the interest of the brand or whatever you want to call it, IP.
Saw it with
I
Tolkien.
have no problem with that. But you're right. Like the other problem is it usually ends up in the hands of a corporation. So yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, sure. The Tolkien estate was a prime example of that. It was protected for a time until the family member who really cared to protect it passed on, and that was the end of that. Now we got Amazon.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That is the case.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we've got some things coming up. I am, in fact, going straight from here over to stream with Horny Elf, where I'm going to be talking to some vets. But I don't have the YouTube stream, Horny Elf. I need the link for that so I can tell people where to go. So if you can see my DM and Twitter, I need the link for that. So I'll try and share that with my friends here in the chat before we leave. But CC, anything you want to plug as we wrap things up here? Oh, we got a couple super chats. Never mind. Let's do that first, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm so sorry. Mecha J says, Sisu trailer reaction, Fry from future. Shut up and take my money. Yeah, basically. I feel the same way now after seeing it. Comic Plane says the show The Chosen has gotten over 100 million views and crowdfunded $40 million raised to create it. Surprised there has not been more talk about this. Any thoughts on this? This is the first I've heard about it, Cosmic Plane. Cosmic Planes. Has anybody here heard about The Chosen?
Can't say. Oh, let's see. I don't know. What is that? Show The Chosen. I'm afraid not.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. It's totally news to me. So sorry we can't really comment on that, Cosmic Planes, but thanks for bringing it to our attention, and we'll have to look into it. Sounds like an alternative, maybe an alternative to some of the modern entertainment. Tiger Valley says, as someone who thoroughly enjoyed Megan way more than I expected, I'm eagerly anticipating the unrated cut. Have you seen it yet, Tom? If so, thoughts? No, I haven't yet. I've been hovering over it. I might get it this week. Then again, I might just wait for the Blu-ray. So we'll have to see. I'm kind of one of those kind of people. I just kind of just wait for the Blu-ray usually. But as soon as I see it, I'll let you guys know my thoughts on it. That's for sure. So with that, then I think we are caught up. Let me double check the mod group to make sure we are okay. And then I got the link here for the other stream, and we got the mod group. Let me double check. So CC, anything coming up? I know Friday you got some stuff coming up.
That's usually what's coming up. We had a great turnout last Friday, so
yeah, it was fun.
Looking forward to more karaoke. Fridays, 10 p.m. Pacific. If you're awake, if you want to hang out and listen to people sing songs, you're welcome to join.
We're crazy.
Indeed. Did you have some more super chats, or?
No, that was it. That was all my thing, gotcha. Unless I missed some.
No, thank you.
I don't have anything in the mod group. I just double checked there. So, Clobby, what do you got coming up? I know you're always busy. You're busy. You're almost busier than me.
Almost, buddy. I don't know if there's going to be a round table or not on Loki's channel, but if there is, I'll be there at 7 tomorrow night, and then of course my own Wednesday night. Wildcard Wednesday night will be 9. All my shows that are on my channel are 9 Central usually, and of course Thursday night with Raquel and Mark D, the great Mark D, and then the great Raquel for our clubhouse on Thursday night. I should be hanging out with the Nicholas and the gang over there with the comic shop. He'll tell you more about that Friday night, and then Saturday night Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central. 4 more episodes of Deep Space Nine.
All right.
Thank you.
I got
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, always. And I got a little information on The Chosen. And this is what Steph brought up here too. I just got this in the background. It's a Christian-based gospel account of Christ's work here, and it's okay as a Catholic I'm man. And here's why you haven't heard anything about it. They don't need us to.
No, yeah.
That's why we never hear about it. They have their own self, like it's sustainable to where they can bring out tons of those kind of movies, and they don't need anybody else to help them make them. And in fact, in most cases, they probably rather not have other people get involved, so they can just make the kind of stuff they want to get out of it. So look, I totally support that kind of stuff. I have no denomination whatsoever. Am I supporting one over the other? I'm just stating that look, you crowdfund it. You got the audience there to watch it. More power to you. That's awesome. Nick, what do you got coming up? You got something coming up later on tonight. You know what's sad is I did not get the movie in time to watch it.
Oh, dude, it's only an hour and 20 minutes.
I know, but I've got this other thing coming up anyway. So I ordered the movie, but it hasn't showed up yet. Like I ordered it like 2 weeks ago. So
understood. But so yeah, anyways, Toxic Tuesday is back. Obviously, we took a week off since it was Valentine's Day, so I was doing obvious things. So we're back tonight with Showdown in Little Tokyo. And no, this is not Big Trouble in Little China, because I get why people mistake it. But this movie is very historical, not just because it was a very underrated action movie, but because it had Dolph Lundgren on the front, on his side, Brandon Lee before The Crow. So you can see Brandon on the rise with this movie, and you get an idea of the potential of what could have been with this guy, because you could tell he had all the makings of being a true rock star for action movies, but then obviously tragedy struck. But yeah, either way, I'm excited to talk about this movie. I feel like it's very underrated, and him and Lundgren are amazing together. And well, we're just going to tell you how toxic it is and why you should watch it. So yeah, please come hang out with us in a little over 90 minutes. It's going to be a great time to talk about it, and always good to hang out the chat. Thanking the wrenches for wrenching, and always good to be on panel with Tom, Klobby, and CC Karaoke.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Nick. And with that, follow me over to that link, and then this chat will also, when this show's done, it will lead you over to Toxic Tuesday, so you can park up there as well. So follow me over to the Vet Talking Tuesday over on Vets Talking, where I'll talk with those guys here in just a few minutes. So thank you for joining us tonight. I know it's kind of a short show, but there just really wasn't much news tonight, guys. I don't mind keeping it short sometimes. It's okay. Sometimes a quickie is all she needs.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Take care of yourself, kids, and we'll see you on the flip side.
You serious?